Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Hari Om, Pranam Swamiji.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.
Pranava Swamiji, Pranava.
Pranam
Swamiji. Hari Om, Pranam Swamiji.
Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram. Oh, 329. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram.
Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om, Hari Om.
Pranam Swamiji.
Pranam, Pranam.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Technically, we have cleared 5 chapters, but we have not cleared anything. Because we are trying to find out whether anything has gone deep inside and started influencing us, impacting us. Anyhow, let us have this run. Because Papa willed that we should undertake, so we will undertake and see for ourselves whether any impact is there in our talking, thinking and doing. Papa's teachings somehow refine our life, to get peace of mind, to become successful, to become creative, to become productive, at the same time to become more and more peaceful and blissful in our dealings. At no time Papa wants us to retire from any activities. The only thing, the sense of agency should be surrendered up to him, which is the main theme of Bhagavad Gita. And Vinobaji brings it out beautifully in his talks on Gita. We should always be reminding, the purpose is only to accept his will over our puny intellect's will. It is difficult because we have not trained our mind, intellect. We have been taking decisions in total. Why this sound? Kindly, those who are not muted, kindly mute, please.
Yeah, others. Now Swamiji is also muted.
Okay, Hari Om. Can you hear?
Yes, Swamiji, yes, Swamiji.
Yeah. So this is a very, very important thing that we have to keep it in mind. The whole purpose is not to complete any portion, though that should be there, otherwise how will we move? But what is more important is to imbibe something out of this, We are constantly reminded that even in the 18th chapter, the Lord finally winds up his entire discourse with that call. What was that call? Anybody remember? Sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam praja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. There are about 78 slokas there, 66th sloka. Because he says so many things, and in the 63 he gives us a long rope, Arjuna. I have discussed all these things in detail. Now you act as you feel. Yatechati tata guru. Whatever way you want to act, you can act. But again, Vinobaji says that it's the privilege he gives to every devotee to give him a free hand, but at the same time he takes it back. So he says, Sarvadharman parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Praja. So that is the quintessence of Gita talking. The sense of agency strives to realize that he is there inside us and outside us, deciding everything. So that is why it's called prescripted. We are unable to accept it, even if we hear for days together, weeks together, months together, years together. Still the sense of agency will not accept it. Though outwardly it may accept it for us, because we are Shastras, we are Mahatmas. But inside, the small I is always asserting its existence. So this should be borne in mind when we go through chapter by chapter. So with a prayer, please somehow, gradually at least reduce the overpowering tendency of this sense of individuality and to slowly accept that it is he who decides. Even on trivial matters concerning our personal life, we become upset because of this, because we don't accept that God willed it. So every time when we go through any chapter, this should be borne in mind, this should not be lost sight of. It is only to gain this awareness, experience, that we have been prompted by him to go through it. And God knows that if you repeat the same word, it will be boring for us. We will close the book. So he puts it in various forms. The same principle in various forms. So that if one approach is not accepted by our mind, another approach can become acceptable to us. Same thing. With a detached look, if you go through the entire chapters, the same thing is running, the same theme is running. With this background, we will now try to enter into the 6th chapter. It is called self-control, Atma Samyama Yoga. Unless and until this can be achieved, my subservience to the higher power can be achieved only by reigning my senses, mind, intellect. How do I do that? There should be a process. Vinobaji puts it as moderate one-pointedness of the mind, moderation and regulation in life to help one-pointedness, and equanimity and evenness in outlook. One-pointedness of mind require that the mind be restrained and its fickleness controlled. Moderation and regulation in life implies doing everything in a measured way with proper limits. Equanimity and evenness in outlook means having a positive and constructive outlook. These three together make up the yoga of meditation or self-control. There are two means to achieve this, abhyasa and vairagya. So abhyasa and vairagya, two. Then one-pointedness, three. Moderation, four. And finally, evenness. Everybody who has mastered this celestial music, this great scripture, has been trying to emphasize repeatedly that Gita is addressed to the man on the field. That means in our family life, professional life, social life. So we try to approach Gita with that, Not merely in our labeled spiritual practices. In all our activities, suppose we bring these five. Moderation, one-pointedness, evenness, dispassion, practice. Let us take first one-pointedness. It is indispensable for any work. Even in worldly affairs, one needs concentration. It is not that the qualities needed for worldly success are different from those needed for spiritual progress. This has to be made clear to our mind. That means there is no divide, One norm for spiritual journey, another norm for our mundane life. No. Whatever is suitable for the one is also suitable for one. Whatever is needed for one is also needed for the other. Spirituality means nothing but purification of worldly life. Meaning, worldly life as we understand today is centered on me and mine. Spirituality emphasizes the existence of the spirit over this. That's all. It is not asking us to remove the worldly life. There is a spirit behind everything that we have unknowingly, unwittingly forgotten. That is being brought out by the word spirituality. The spirit and matter. So at no time the spirit is away from the matter. Interlinked. Interconnected. That is why he says, even in worldly affairs one needs concentration. It is not that the qualities needed for worldly success are different from those needed for spiritual progress. Spirituality means nothing but purification of worldly life. Business, scientific research, politics, diplomacy, in fact, any activity, concentration of mind is the key to success. The success is hard to come by in temporal as well as in spiritual pursuits without one-pointedness of mind. If you could make your mind one-pointed, you will never be short of strength. Even if you are an old man of 60, you will have enthusiasm and strength of a young man. The mind should in fact go on getting stronger as one gets older. Look at a fruit. In the beginning it is raw. Then it ripens, then decays, but the seed within gets harder and harder. The shell deteriorates, falls off, but that is not the essential part of the fruit. Its essential part is the seed. Similarly, memory should grow stronger, intellect should become sharper, more radiant as one ages. But this does not happen. People complain of failing memory and attribute the cause to their old age. But knowledge, wisdom, memory are like the one seed, one's essential part. Even as the body grows older and becomes infirm, the soul should become stronger. One-pointedness of mind is necessary for this purpose. But how to attain it? What should be done for it? The Lord says one should fix the mind in the self, capital S, and think of nothing else. Na kinchitapi chintayet. How to do this? To still the mind is extremely important. Concentration will always elude us if we do not forcefully stop the revolving wheels of thought. The outer wheel may perhaps be stopped somehow, but we may put a stop to the worldly activities, but the inner wheel continues to revolve. As we go on employing different means for the concentration of the mind, the inner wheel revolves all the faster. You may sit in this or that posture and fix your gaze. By itself, it will not achieve concentration. The important thing is that one must be able to stop the inner wheel. The mind is crowded with the thoughts of limitless samsara, meaning affairs and happenings in the outside world. Concentration of the mind is impossible until all those thoughts are put out. We dissipate the self's boundless potential power of knowing and brooding over worldly trifles. This must not happen. A man who has become rich not by robbing others, but by through his own hard work, will never squander the money. We too should not waste the self's power in gross and petty matters. This power can lead us to enlightenment. It is our priceless treasure. This language everybody can understand. Through hard work we have earned. We don't want to spend that money in easy manner or loosey manner. Okay. Because we know the pinch of it. No? Every pie that we have earned, it has come from our hard work. So it should be spent in that way. We too should not waste the self's power in there. So similarly, when we try to do some austerities, we gain some power. But we have to ensure that it is not wasted. We should pray to him, no? Always we should pray to him. Please, you helped me to unearth so many things. Enable me to preserve it and use it to know you. Let me not try to invest it where your presence is not recognized by me. Knowing fully that you have facilitated, you have given me that for the purpose of extending to your own forms, let me try to do that. Right from the tiniest to the grossest. And we have to try to apply this in the three tiers of life, namely family, profession and society. Look how we waste the power. If we find at the dining table that there is not enough salt in the vegetable, we grumble and complain about it. Is that so important? This is misuse of our faculty of cognition. The children are taught within the four walls of the classroom. We are afraid that they would get distracted by the crows and sparrows if they are taught in the open. Their minds can get concentrated if they do not see a crow or a sparrow. But what about us? We are grown-ups. We have lost our innocence and have become worldly wise, and therefore cannot concentrate our mind even if we are kept within 7-walled fortress. We go on discussing merrily each and every trivial matter in the world. We go on expending our power of thought, which can lead us to the Lord, in discussing the taste of vegetables and pat ourselves on the back for this feat. Day and night, this frightening samsara is always surging around us, within and without. Even our prayers are for some material gain. There is no longing to become one with the Lord. Forget samsara at least for a moment. Our prayer is nothing but a show. When such is the mental state, sitting cross-legged and closing the eyes is bound to be in vain. As the mind is disposed to get distracted all the time by the things without, a man's strength is completely sapped. He loses any kind of discipline and controlling power. We are witnessing this state of affairs at every step in our country. Truly, India is a land of spirituality. It is believed that our people live at the high altitude of spirituality. Still, how pitiable is our condition. It is painful to see us engaged in hair-splitting over trivial matters. Our minds are always immersed in such matters. While listening to the narration of epics and stories from mythology, sleep overtakes us. When in bed, anxieties keep us awake. Such is the inscrutable way of karma. Actions accumulated in the present and the earlier life. What is the use of shedding tears over it? The mind is either focused on nothing or is focused on too many things at the same time. But it is never fixed on one single object. Man is such a slave to the senses. Once a gentleman asked me, what is it that the eyes should only be, why is it that the eyes should be half open while meditating? I replied, I give you a simple answer. If the eyes are fully closed, one is likely to go to sleep. And if they are kept wide open, attention would be diverted. There will be no concentration. Proneness to sleep when the eyes are closed is tamas. And the diversion of attention when the eyes are open is rajas. Therefore, an intermediate state has been prescribed, half open. In short, there cannot be concentration of mind without change in the disposition. The disposition of mind should be pure. This cannot be attained merely by sitting in particular postures. All our worldly activities should be purified for this purpose. We should not engage in them for our own personal gains or for satisfying baser instincts and desires for any material purpose. This elaborately is discussed. Papa has put in one small quotation. Our outer life should be compatible with inner aspiration. Our outer life should be compatible with inner aspiration. If we are constantly reminded of this word, we will find unknowingly the concentrated approach, the one-pointed concentration is slowly wells up in our mind because we are always riveted to the ideal. To ensure that my thoughts, words and deeds go along with the ideal. And the ideal is to feel His will. And not my will. That is why we bluntly feel now, we express also, in spite of decades of Ramnath chanting, what has happened to our mind? During that particular time, okay, after that, have we ensured that our outer life in line with, in conformity with the ideal which Ramnam assures us, not merely symbolizes us, assures us. Because to us it was a compartmentalized activity. We are sincere about it. Not that we are not sincere, we are sincere about it. But at the end of it, suppose every now and then we take stock and see whether we are having a peaceful mind, a peaceful approach, a passive outlook, an optimistic outlook. Papa has oft quoted the tripod of sadhana, the three stand. What are they? Fixed resolve, sustained faith, and optimistic outlook. When we are talking about control of the mind, it will be appropriate to dwell on these three, which Papa often quotes. Fixed resolve, there is no change. Sustained faith in the words of the Master and the ideal. Optimistic outlook throughout. In short, there cannot be concentration of mind without change in its disposition. We should not engage in them for our personal gains or for satisfying baser instincts and desires or for any material purpose. The whole day we are engaged in doing some or other worldly activities. What is the purpose of all this toil? All my persistent efforts were to make the last moment happy. All the toil in this life is to be done to make the last moment happy. Throughout the life, bitter poison is to be swallowed. Sufferings and hardships are to be endured to have a calm, serene and holy end. The last moment of the day comes in the evening. Had the activities throughout the day been carried out with a pure heart, then the night prayer would be sweet, bringing a sense of contentment and fulfillment in the last moment of the day. If the last moment of the day is sweet, it means that the day's work has been fruitful, then the mind can easily get concentrated. So purity of life is essential for concentration. Mind should never be preoccupied with worldly matters. A man's life is not long, but even in the short span of life, he can experience the eternal divine bliss. Two men may appear to be cast in the same mold, but one of them becomes godlike, while the other sinks to the level of a beast. Why does it happen? When all the children of God why is there such a difference? Why does one Nara become Narayan, whereas the other becomes Vanara? There have been men in the past who have shown what great heights man can scale. Such men are there even now in our midst. This is a matter of experience. The saints have shown what a man can achieve even while remaining caged within the body. If some men can do miraculous deeds while remaining within the body, why should it not be possible for me? Why should I set bounds to my imagination? I too possess the same human body, dwelling in which others have done heroic deeds. Then why should I be in such a sad plight? There must be something wrong with me. My mind is all the time focused on things outside. It is too preoccupied in finding faults in others. But why should I judge others? Why should I be concerned with the virtues and vices of others when I myself have them in abundance? If I remain busy in observing and criticizing the faults in others, how could I have concentration of mind? Then I am bound to be caught between rajas and tamas. The mind will either wander aimlessly or it will go to sleep. It will go blank. It is true that the Lord has given suggestions about the sitting posture, the fixing of gaze for attaining one-pointedness, but they could be useful only when the one has realized the need of having one-pointedness mind. Let one realize this need, then one will seek and find for oneself the means to attain it. A very comprehensive approach, of one-pointedness. When I repeat Ram Nam with closed eyes, when I try to hear my own chanting, no doubt I gain some concentration of mind. But let us watch ourselves. Has it been sustaining? Have I been able to experience the presence of the witness consciousness? Papa has bluntly said that experience is nothing but God realization. He has given us the holy and all-powerful Ramna. And in the three methodologies, Nam, Seva, Dhyan, he talks about this concentration. For that he did not give any philosophy, he straightaway made us to go through a methodology. So when I try through the vocal chanting, silent chanting, and finally the mental chanting, where you become aware of your own chanting. That is knowingly chanting. For a split second at least, we become aware of the witness consciousness. And immediately after that session, what happens? Maybe for 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, or 1 minute, or 2 minutes. When the conducive atmosphere was created within, that is, all the thoughts are set at rest by concentrating on one thought, the Ramna. And that Ramna facilitated us to have a glimpse of the witness consciousness. But when I come out of that, do I try to maintain that the same witness consciousness is there while I am talking, while I am opening, while I am walking, while I am sitting, while I am eating, while I am working? It is not that this witness consciousness stays only during that particular moment. But to know its presence, we have to recede from all our normal run of activities, and so that we become aware of its presence, and then our attempt should be to become aware of it during all the waking moments. So this is what is meant by compatible with inner aspiration. This can be had only when I have a detached view of men and matters. When my mind gets grossly involved in men and matters, the awareness of the witness consciousness for that particular period is not conspicuous. Please think about this. Elaborately, he discussed about Vinobaji discussed about this one-pointedness. And we are trying to understand it through Papa's words because we are more comfortable with these words. Fixed resolve, sustained faith, optimistic outlook. And then again, when he talks about meditation, control of the mind, means what? To become aware of his presence, It is not for the sake of control of the mind that we are practicing control of the mind. It is for the sake of becoming aware of his presence within. Today he reminds us that while taking to mental chanting, there are some moments where we will be blessed with the awareness of that presence, which is named as Sakshibha. And this Sakshibha is there only, it is not there only when the Ram chanting, mental chanting is conducted. This mental chanting helps us to become aware of his presence as the Sakshi, which factor rests with us throughout. So in between our activities, suppose we try to bring in this, we will know what are the causes that are driving us away from this. And then we try to put it back, which is what is called the control of the mind. Is it becoming clear?
Swamiji?
Huh?
Swamiji, can you please, can you please repeat, Swamiji? Control of the mind is to become aware of his presence within Sonel.
Is to become aware of the witness consciousness. So what that Papa has given us, a wonderful, in his own words, we will repeat that. In his own words. Please, we have read many a times, but still, in the spiritual journey, going inward is a must. And Papa's words, when we sit silently, we have to be conscious in the first place that the God we seek is in our own heart. Then mentally repeat his name. Make the mind repeat the name until all its waves cease and it becomes perfectly still. If it does not easily become still, we have to continue the repetition of the name mentally with an attitude of self-surrender. If it does not easily become still, we have to continue the repetition of the name mentally with an attitude of self-surrender. We try to develop witness consciousness. It is a state of awareness of the immortal and radiant truth within us. Which one? Witness consciousness. Witness consciousness is a state of awareness of the immortal and radiant truth within us. In fact, this awareness itself is God realization. So during our busy activities, the me and mind, the thought in the form of me and mind predominates. So in order to, just like in a muddy water or a dirty water, it takes time, for things to get settled down. In Atma Bodh, there is a beautiful slogan. In good old days, we don't know now. When there is a dirty water, they put a kataka nut. People call it as alum, nowadays? I don't know. So when we put the kataka nut, the explanation given is, it slowly draws to itself all the dirt, and then the water becomes clean. It is not that the clean water was not there, but the clean water was not seen because of the dirt in it. So when this kataka nut absorbs, can you find out from Atma Bodh? Kataka nut. When we do that, we become aware, the pure water becomes explicit, conspicuous. Similarly, our mind is now crowded with thoughts. Different types of thoughts. Hatake katakadivadu appadi virumadu. Kataka. So the same thing, So it is not that the pure water is not there. Similarly, Atman is still there. Even in our crowded thoughts, where the me and mind dominates, it is still there. Otherwise, we don't exist. So now this meditation or this process, mental chanting, helps us like the kataka nut, and slowly it paves the way for becoming aware of, or the emergence of, our basic core of our being in the form of witness consciousness. Sarvadi Sakshi Dudam. Ajnana Kalusham Jeevam Jnanabhyasadi Nirmalam Kritva Jnanam Swayam Nashyet Jatam Katakarenuvat. Constant practice of knowledge. These are the verses from Atma Bodh. It is a beautiful composition of Adi Shankara. Beautiful. Simple words, profound ideas have been made here to us. Ajnana Karusham Jeevam Jnanabhyasadi Nirmalam Kritva Jnana Swayam Nashyed Jalam Katakarenuvat. Constant practice of knowledge purifies the self stained by ignorance and then disappears itself as the powder of the kataka nut settles down after it has cleansed the muddy water. So it is not that the muddiness, what do you call it? The dirt. The dirt is there, but the pure water is there always, So similarly, He is there within us because of our mind getting diverted on so many other things. It does not become explicit. So this kataka nut here, what we mean by our concentrated effort We are trying to understand, we are trying to experience, not understand, experience the presence of that power even now while we are talking. So that has been beautifully brought out by Papa. It does not, if it does not easily become still, we have to continue the repetition of the name mentally with an attitude of self-surrender. Then we try to develop a witness consciousness. It is a state of awareness of the immortal and radiant truth within us. That word, it is not that it is coming because of this exercise. It is a state of awareness of the immortal and radiant truth within us. In fact, this awareness itself is God realization. So the 6th chapter reminds us of all these, Even while we are active in anything, we should be conscious always that He is there in the form of consciousness, witness consciousness. When we say Sat Chit Anand, the Chit aspect. In various Vedantic texts, this word is repeated. Brahmanandam Paramasukhatam Keval Jnanamurtim Dadvaditam Gaganasarsham Tattvamasyadiraksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamajalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavaditam Sargunavihitam Sadgurum Tam Namami.
Swamiji, you say that Papa says that we have to continue chanting mentally with a sense of surrender. The problem is the more we try to control the mind and make it sit at one place, the more it tends to run in all directions. Even if we keep telling ourselves that we have to sit, we have to concentrate, we have to think about this one thing, the more we do that, the more it runs in 1,000 directions. So what is the surrender aspect that we have to bring into?
It is a very, very pertinent point that you have raised. If we limit this only to the chanting of God's name, the mind will not behave. But suppose we extend to any type of activities which we do, we will also be able to concentrate during our mental chanting time. Unknowingly, unwittingly, we have formed a view now that it is during the moments of our inward journey that we should do that. No. So this is interlinked. The more we become committed in our inward journey, the more it gets expanded on the outer life. The more we concentrate on the outer life, the faster will be our concentration in the inward. Both should go simultaneously because we are not exclusively in one. So when we attend to our household activities, if we try to sharpen or concentrate our entire faculties on that particular line of action which the God prompts us to engage in, that means we are training our mind to involve at one time on one thing. The mind should be alert. Otherwise, this problem, as you said, rightly said, this problem will harass us. At the time of sitting with closed eyes, it will go to different places. The chanting will become only superficial. So how to blend this, each one has to find out. So one method will be to have this as much as possible in our outer life, and we should also try in our inward journey. If we don't sit for inward journey, it is difficult. If we ignore this in our outer activities, it is difficult. So we feel that it should go hand in hand. Because 90% of our waking time are in activities, outward activities, outside activities. If we don't give importance for this aspect to that, During the 5% or 10% activity of going inward, mind will not behave. And that is why here in this chapter, he this not only this concentration, moderation, right from sleep and our what do you call it, food, yuktahara viharasya, moderation in everything. Moderation in doing everything, and then simultaneously trying to develop the even-mindedness. These are the three things, along with the dispassion and practice. 5 items. If these 5 items are honestly tried, the problem which we have now understood probably will slowly get solved. Otherwise, as you said, it is tough. If only we concentrate during our inward journey, mind will not behave.
So Swamiji, does it mean that if we do each action mindfully and try to achieve perfection in it, that's a way of being in that only one activity at that time?
Correct.
Okay.
This is what we have seen in Mataji's life also. No? Everything will be loving and one point. Anything. Even if she goes to the bathroom, we have often seen, when she comes out of it, 2-3 times she will, there will be something in there where she will clean her feet. The mug will be placed at the place where it should be kept. The tap should be fully off. Nothing is unimportant. Whole-souled involvement. The moda will be in its own place. The asana will be there in its own place. Everything. So that at that time we thought, it's a discipline or something like that, But later on when we try to go through these teachings and try to understand why the mind is not behaving well, it is not because the mind is trained to behave in an orderly manner at a particular time. Throughout the waking state, this effort is made to discipline the mind. In whatever vocation, in whatever field, it is engaged. Please think over and try. And for that, this moderation will also help.
So Swamiji, is it then safe to assume that if you start off by leading the most disciplined life you can, it will ultimately lead to the thought that each action is a service to that?
Yeah, correct. That is the ultimate this thing. Everything we handle it with a touch of love, with a touch of perfection, with a touch of dedication, with a touch of gratitude. If that becomes a reality in my life, I have achieved. I keep on repeating it so that one day it will become a reality in my life. This is how everyone strives. Everything with a touch of love. Because everything is a part of God. Whether at home or in the office or with our friends. Not for anything else. This bhalatya, the expectation of fruit is not there. We are handling His. And we do it with perfection. And then with a dedication. And finally, we are thankful to Him for having given to us. Whenever the mind is ready to bring in this 4, try, that's all. It may not be possible to bring in throughout our activities. Mind is not trained. Because mind has been trained in a different fashion, with a different outlook. So this is a new dimension that Papa is giving to us through Bhagavad Gita, through his 6th chapter.
So Swamiji, face is an index of the mind. Face is the index of the mind.
Face.
This is the index of the mind.
Those are all flowery words. Let us come down to the earth. Down to the earth. When we keep this book now, when we open this book and read out certain things, when we open the tablet or laptop, we handle it,
Sure.
It has been instrumental in touching and kindling noble thoughts, sublime thoughts, thoughts of many Mahatmas stored in this particular gadget. What a brilliant thing it is giving us. Just now when he made us to remember about this Kataka nut, Sundar was immediately requested to find out. He went to Google Baba. In the split second, it was located, and this particular sloga came up there, which we have heard in 60s. But it comes out now. So whatever mechanism he has done, so should we not feel grateful to him?
Yes, Swamiji. Are you?
Think about it. Let not the individual take credit, no? If it is not there, God has prompted somebody to put everything in that small mobile or laptop. Think about it through Wi-Fi. You go to Google Baba, request him, please open up this Atma Bodha Shankara, and then please find out control F, we put Kataka nut. Immediately it comes, We take it as granted that as an achievement of science and technology. No doubt, through science and technology it came out, but we find the intelligence behind it, The prompting to register and keep everything in that small little chip. Like that, we try to see. We don't stop with the laptop, we don't stop with the mobile, we don't stop with the Wi-Fi. Behind everything, that intelligence brought out this wonderful truth in a simpler form and prompted Adi Shankara to bring it out in the form of a sloga. And then somebody was prompted, to file all these things, to keep it in record. And now he prompts us at this moment. That too, for the first time this is being linked. The mental chanting of Ramnam should enable us to quieten the mind, and when the mind becomes quiet, we will become aware of the witness consciousness. That witness consciousness itself is God realization. That means that witness consciousness ever stays with us. Just like the pure water is always there, though we are not in a position to see the clear water in the dirty water. So we use a katakana so that the dirt is being drawn and it is the pure water is separated. Similarly, when the mind is crowded with so many thoughts, it becomes unaware of the presence of the witness consciousness. And so a device is suggested by which the troubled mind becomes quiet and it becomes aware of the consciousness, which we call it as witness consciousness. Many of you might remember during the centenary of Param Pujya Swamiji in 2019, a small book was brought out where Swamiji explains this as consciousness only. He gives importance to bring this in the name of consciousness. Consciousness is floating everywhere. In that consciousness, all creations are coming up, staying for some time and going. So always you get riveted. The sense of individuality, though it stays as separate, it gets connected with this consciousness. And Swamiji himself has written, probably in a lighter vein, that he tries to maintain the presence of it as much as possible. But when he starts talking to somebody, it fades for some time. But that viraha is not is not what you call demotivating. There is a joy in it. That means often it comes and goes, that's all. And that often coming and going is also a part of the function of the consciousness, because it wants us to have single-pointed concentration on anything that we do. So that separation is not there. Whatever I get during this inward journey, it is still there in outward activity, then I will not feel it is broken. So single-pointedness on any work or any activity is equivalent to single-pointedness on paving the way for the emergence of this witness consciousness. Today we couldn't move much, but it's a very, very important topic. Kindly think over it. We will try to continue it tomorrow, because it's a very, very important, very, very important for all of us. These 5 things, kindly that you. One-pointed concentration, moderation, even-mindedness, dispassion, practice. Not only in puja room, not only during inward journey, because though the Lord has elaborately explained in some slokas in this particular, how we should sit and bluntly Vinobaji says, he says there must be some I should not limit myself only to that particular period. There cannot be concentration of mind without the change in its disposition. All our worldly activities should be purified for that purpose. This cannot be attained merely by sitting in particular postures. This requires a change in the goal of those activities, outside activities, goal of activities. We should not engage in them for our personal gains or for satisfying baser instincts or for any material purpose. We will again go through it tomorrow. It requires, mind should never be preoccupied with anything else. A man's life is not long, but even in the short span of life, he can experience the eternal divine bliss. So it is not a compartmentalized experience. Papa is asking us to train our mind and then find out, you get a glimpse of the presence of witness consciousness. And now the struggle is how to maintain it. Because we have to be active. Right from brushing the teeth, we start till retire to bed. Bathing and changing the dress, having our food, going to the work, whichever work is allotted to us, then we attend to that work and come back, take a bath and then retire. Throughout this day's activities, it is not that the witness consciousness is not there. The consciousness is there in the form of witness consciousness, but I am not aware of it. To become aware of it, I do inward journey and try to stretch it to as many moments as possible in my daily life, so that later on it will become steady in my life. That is why this karma sannyasa and karma yoga, that is.
Sir, karma sannyasa explain பண்ணலாம் சார். கர்ம சன்னியாசங்கிறது என்ன ஆக்சுவலா பண்ணாக்கி ஒன்றும் பண்ணாக்கி வைக்கிறதா வித்தவுட் டூயிங் எனிதிங் என்ன அந்த கர்ம சன்னியாசங்கிறது என்ன சுவாமிஜி?
டைம் ஆச்சு இப்போ.
நாளைக்கு வச்சுக்கலாம்.
See, sannyasam, yogam, marriage, you leave all, when you renounce all your activities, that is called sannyas. When you leave all the karma phala, that is karma yoga. So karma yogis, though both of them lead us to the same goal, both of them are equal, still the Lord says,
karma yoga is better.
Vishishyati. Because for our people like us, we cannot retire from the
Right.
activities. So how to bring in this dimension in all our activities, family life, professional life, social life. That is why we need not bother about the terms and terminologies used. Let us try to understand.
Okay.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram,
Jai Ram, Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Swamiji. Hari Om, Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om Swamiji. Very, very powerful message, Swamiji.
Powerful message. Lot of impact. Second.